Well, good afternoon. How are you doing?
Good.
You're looking very good today. Thank you, Chris, and thank you to the MASA team. It is a great time in Michigan as we've been able to gather together yesterday and today here in Detroit. It's wonderful to be with you all. Weren't you impressed this morning with the stories from our superintendent colleagues? Jeff, Matt, Catherine, Bob, William, Stephen, and Dave. Will you guys pop up and let's thank them again for telling their stories. When we were together just a year ago, we reflected on that very idea of telling our stories in public K-12 education across Michigan. We know as superintendents and district leaders, we serve as the chief storytellers in our organizations. And we also understand that if we fail to tell the story, someone else will. Recently, I've been reflecting on the importance of sharing our truth when we share our stories, and I appreciated hearing remarkable truths from each of our Ed Talk leaders this morning. You know, facts do matter. Truth is powerful. As the saying goes, the truth, we will know the truth, and the truth will set us free. Unfortunately, that truth in the latest chapter of Michigan K-12 education story has some brutal realities to it. And I know this is supposed to be a nice lunch, but I want to chat about those for just a minute. That story needs to be told also. You probably saw this recently released report by researchers from Michigan State University, and I quote from a January Detroit News story. Michigan ranks dead last among all states in revenue growth for K-12 schools since voters approved Proposal A in 1994. After adjusting for inflation, tax revenue generated in the state's K-12 system in 2015 was roughly 85% of the amount in 1995. And no other state in the country is close to this decline, this level of decline. Michigan's per pupil funding revenues puts Michigan 48 out of 50 states, according to the report. While at the same time, since 2010, our lawmakers have regularly taken from the school aid fund to plug other budget holes. According to analyses of national testing data, Michigan students are performing in some key and critical achievement areas among the bottom 10% of states. That's our reality. Michigan researcher David Arson concludes, Michigan has tried to improve schools on the cheap, focusing more on accountability and school of choice. To make those policies effective, they have to be matched with adequate funding. We've been kidding ourselves to think that we can move forward while cutting funding for schools. I know all of us experienced the tectonic shock on a December day not long ago when in the final wee hours of lame duck, $180 million in K-12 funding was shifted to environmental cleanup in roads. While certainly those are worthy causes, once again, Michigan's children were moved to the back of the line in Michigan priorities. Someone has said, I can see your priorities by reading your budget report, and that is absolutely true here in Michigan. It's a sad commentary, and yet it's a story that needs to be told. Recently, I've been inspired, though, by the story of Maryland. I don't know if you've ever heard about them, where Republican Governor Larry Hogan, education leaders, and a Democratic legislature have come together to achieve significant progress to support Maryland's public schools. The governor says it like this: I am the second Republican governor of Maryland in half a century, facing a strongly democratically controlled legislature, we could have allowed the state to be paralyzed by partisan gridlock. Instead, we have spent the last 4 years working together to tackle common problems by accepting our shared responsibility to solve them. We have proved that a divided government does not have to be a divisive government. Go figure. The goal at every stage has been to promote common sense, bipartisan policy solutions that achieve balance rather than playing to ideological extremes. In Maryland, we are making unprecedented investments in schools and fighting for increased accountability standards so that every child has access to a world-class education. The governor concludes, "I know from personal experience that hope, not fear, is the most powerful emotion and the author of humanity's greatest achievements. I come from the Get Things Done School of Politics, and I'll work with anyone who wants to do the people's business." Wouldn't you agree today it's time in Michigan to do the same? It's time to work together to get things done for Michigan's children. We must come together around this purpose of ensuring access and equity, opportunity and access, and deliver on the promise we make to our Michigan families. Every child on every day. That's our Michigan promise. And this is our moment. From the inner cities of Detroit and Flint, from Marquette to Monroe, our children are brimming with promise, and they deserve better from us. Let's do this work so that when it comes to public education, Made in Michigan is again a designation of distinction, not a mark of mediocrity. Let's unite behind Governor Whitmer. Weren't you delighted with her yesterday? Let's unite behind Governor Whitmer and compel our legislators from both sides of the aisle to come together and make progress on what matters most. To echo Governor Whitmer's refrain, we can fix the damn roads and we can fund quality public schools. It's not an or, it's an and. Approximately 2 of every 3 children who crossed your school doors this morning arrived through those doors from homes impacted by poverty. Those children are counting on us to get this right. Their futures will be written on the pages of our leadership story. Let's tell that story. Well, it is truly a great day in Michigan. I'm so honored to join with all of you and thank you for the opportunity to share with you today. I know that we all join together in offering our congratulations to Dr. Glenn Maleko, Superintendent, Dearborn Public Schools, on his distinguished honor of Michigan Superintendent of the Year. Glenn, you are a most deserving Michigan education leader. Your service to Dearborn's children inspires and makes us all so very proud. Thank you.